Live. Hello and welcome. Oh, I need to hit the live button on Instagram too. So, hi everyone. Hello Facebook. Hello YouTube. Hello Instagram. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here with me. It is the 20th of January of 2022, and you are watching the Empowered Immigrant Live. I'm so happy to be here with you on this beautiful Thursday afternoon. All right. Our theme for today is how to get a marriage-based green card in 2022, right? Are you getting married in 2022? Are you in love in 2022? Are you marrying a U.S. citizen this year, 2022? And do you finally want to just go for it? Go for marriage, go for commitment, go for getting some documents, go for getting out of the shadows, get a green card, get a marriage-based green card. Why not, everybody? Why not? It is a new year. We can create a new you in this new year and apply for a marriage-based green card in 2022. That is our topic for today, and thank you so much for being here to discuss this important topic. All right. So, here at the Empowered Immigrant Live, we are here to train, to teach, to inspire, and to empower immigrants to make the most out of immigration laws and to make the most out of their lives. All right? And today our theme is how do we get a marriage-based green card in 2022? And so if you want to get a green card this year, if this is your year, I'd love to help you with that. My team would love to help you with that. And you're in the right place, and thank you for being here, okay? And also thank you to everyone who asked your questions. We've got 30 minutes to discuss this topic in English, and then we'll do this same episode in Spanish. So, si usted habla español, que venga con nosotros en 30 minutos a las 2:30, tiempo del Pacífico, all right? So, back into English, we will get started. As always, we want to start with the basics, all right? So first of all, to get a marriage-based green card, first of all, you got to be married, all right? You got to be married to a U.S. citizen or a green card holder, and that marriage must be in quote-unquote good faith, all right? Which means if you're listening to me, I know it's tempting. You got some friend who's like, hey, I want to help you out. I don't really want to be married, but I want to help you out. I know there's temptation there. Do not, my best advice, please, do not get married solely for immigration purposes. Don't get married just for immigration purposes because that will screw your case over, all right? You can get deported for marrying just for immigration purposes, and there's not enough people that know that. So you got to be aware of it. The way to win a case is because you're married because you want to and you intend to form a life together. All right, so that's the marriage-based green card 101. That's like marriage-based green card basics. You got to get married. Your spouse can either be a green card holder or a U.S. citizen, but please, please, please make sure that your interview is quote-unquote in good faith. It's not just for immigration purposes. It's not solely for immigration purposes. It's because you want to and you intend to form a life together. Got it? Awesome. All right, now if you've got that, now the question becomes how. All right, it becomes how. How do you get yourself that green card? Because there's two processes. There's two ways to do it. One of them is through a process called adjustment of status. All right, adjustment of status. You might refer to it as AOS, which stands for adjustment of status. All right, and then the second process is what we call consular processing, which means that you're applying through a U.S. consulate or a U.S. embassy in a country outside the United States, okay? Now, before we get into that, I want to say whenever possible, we recommend filing it as an adjustment of status, right? Whenever possible, do not leave the U.S. and go do it through the consulate. There are a lot of very huge benefits to doing it as an adjustment of status here in the U.S. One of those huge benefits is that an attorney can go with you to the interview, right? Which is like a huge benefit, right? And then, others being that you can do the whole process here with your spouse, with your loved one, and not separated from and living apart from and back in your country of origin. But sometimes that's not possible, all right? So let's look at that. What are the 3 basic requirements to be eligible to adjust status in the United States? What are they? All right? They're simple. Maybe not easy, but they're simple. What are they? 1, you had to have been inspected and admitted, or paroled also, inspected and admitted or paroled into the United States. Like, did you enter on a visa? All right, did you enter with some kind of entry stamp? If so, great, you were inspected and admitted. All right, if you cross the border without permission, you will not be eligible to adjust status, with the exception of a law called 245I, which I'm not going to go into today, if you have a petition that was filed before April 30th of 2001, and if you were present in the year 2000. All right. For the vast majority of people, if you weren't inspected and admitted or paroled, like with an entry stamp into the United States, then you will not be eligible to adjust status. Okay? That's requirement number 1. Requirement number 2 is you've got to have a visa immediately available. And for marriage-based cases, what that means is you've got to be the spouse of a U.S. citizen or a green card holder. Okay? And then requirement number 3 is a big one. All right? Requirement number 3 is a big one. And that is you must be, quote unquote, admissible. All right? Now, what does that mean? What does that mean? You must be admissible under immigration law. Well, admissibility, I've got videos that talk about this. We've got trainings that talk about this. You could find it on our YouTube channel. There's a lot of admissibility questions, quote unquote, red flags. There's a lot of them. The big ones, I'm just going to ask you, the big ones. All right, you ready for them? All right, number 1, have you ever been arrested anywhere in the world? Now, an arrest alone won't make you inadmissible, all right? But convictions will, depending on what type of case it is, all right? And the truth is some criminal activity, even without an arrest, can make a person inadmissible. The second inadmissibility issue is if you've ever lied to immigration before, ever submitted false documents to immigration before, all right? The third is similar. Have you ever said you were a U.S. citizen before? All right? Those are types of fraud. They cause problems, all right? The fourth big red flag kind of question is, have you ever used, possessed, cultivated, transported, had anything to do with any drug, narcotic, controlled substance, including marijuana, all right? Because those things can screw over your immigration case. You got to be aware of it. The next question is, have you ever helped any other person, including kids, including anybody, to enter the United States, cross the border without permission? Have you ever paid the coyote or given money or assisted in any way another person to cross the border without permission? Because that can cause a problem for your case. And the last one that I'll ask here for today's purposes is, have you ever used any public benefit? Or would you likely to become a public charge in the United States? Those are admissibility questions. If you've got a squeaky clean record, if the answer is no for all of those, then great. You probably have a case. You could file for adjustment of status. The reason that I ask these questions is because I want you to think it through. That is why it's beneficial to do a consultation with a law firm that knows this stuff. Because if there's any, yeah, but what about this thing that happened? Or yeah, what about that incident? Or whatever. How would you argue this or that? It's like we want to talk it through. We want to clarify, hey, this is the way immigration views it. This is what the immigration officer will ask you. And you got to be prepared for it. All right? You got to be prepared for it. So if you have those challenges, you might still be eligible for a green card. but maybe not. All right? You might be eligible for adjustment of status, but maybe not, depending on what those issues are. You might need to file a waiver with your case. You might not be eligible for adjustment, but you might still be eligible for consular processing. Okay? You might need to file a waiver. Let's look at them carefully. Okay? That is the value of a consultation with a professional. Okay? And so we can look at these issues carefully together, make sure that, yes, you've got a case for a green card, because my goal is to win you a green card so you don't have to worry about all this stuff anymore. Now, that's it, everybody. That's it. That's all I'm going to explain about marriage-based green cards in 2022. I'm now going to turn to your questions. And thank you all so much for submitting your questions. And if you're here on YouTube, if you're here on Facebook, if you're here on Instagram, send me your questions if you've got a question. I'd love to answer it. I'll do that as long as I can. Right now it's 2:15. I do have to finish by 2:30. And so I'll jump right into it. My first question comes from Renee. All right, Renee, hello. Thank you for your question. Thank you for asking it. So Renee, you ask, how hard is it to get approval to bring a girlfriend to get married in the U.S., and how long does it take? So Renee, thank you for asking that question. One question I have is, do you mean, just to clarify, do you mean that you want to apply for a fiancé visa so that your girlfriend could come into the U.S. and then you have the marriage in the U.S.? Because if you're a U.S. citizen, you can't do this if you have a green card, but if you are a U.S. citizen already, you can petition for fiancés, all right? It is a process. It takes a long time, all right? There are 5 big steps with it. Step 1 is you got to file the fiancé petition, okay? Step 2 is after that petition's approved, your fiancé has to go to a consular interview and get the visa in their passport so that they can get on an airplane. All right. Step 3 is they got to enter the U.S. Step 4 is you got to get married within 90 days of their entry into the U.S. And then step 5, you file for adjustment of status. This process we've been talking about, a marriage-based green card here in the U.S. All right. And that starts a 2-year additional process once you're here and married. Okay. Fiancé visas, I've got whole videos on them. I will have a whole Empowered Immigrant Live dedicated to the fiancé visa process where I can go into it in much more detail. But, you know, they take a long time and they are good processes. If you're in love and if you really want to have your marriage done in the United States, you want that wedding to happen in the United States, then yeah, let's petition for the fiancé visa, get them here, you can have the marriage here, and then apply for the green card. Nice. Renee, I hope that answered your question, and thank you so much for asking it. The next question comes from Fariduddin. Fariduddin, thank you so much for asking your question. All right? Fariduddin, your question is, after 3 years, my K-1 case has returned to USCIS for review. Why? All right? I want to know more. I need to know more about what we can do about this issue. Please advise. Thanks. Wow, Fariduddin, thank you for asking that question. That is interesting, all right? Are you saying that your case was approved 3 years ago and now USCIS has reopened your case? Or are you saying that your case was pending for 3 years and now finally they're getting around to reviewing it? It sounds like your case was approved first and now they're like reopening it or asking for a new interview. If that's the case, all right, if that's the case, you know, that does happen sometimes. It's pretty uncommon, but it does happen sometimes. And so perhaps USCIS suspects marriage fraud, maybe. Perhaps they believe there was a mistake or an error somewhere in your case. And perhaps it's nothing. My best advice for you is to go to that interview. Your case will be denied if you don't. Go to that interview, but go with an attorney who can prepare you and prepare you and prepare you and prepare you. All right? Go with an attorney who will be ready to fight for you. Because if USCIS is reopening some old case, often that's not good news. All right? I'm just saying it like it is. That's often not good news. They suspect some kind of problem. It's not necessarily that, but you want to be ready to fight for your ability to stay in the U.S. Okay? Hope that's helpful. I wish you the best of luck. If my office can help you with that, please contact our office. That's what we're here to do. All right. Next question comes from Daniela. Daniela, you say, ¿Puede un abogado del gobierno representarme en corte? Can a lawyer from the government represent me in court? All right. Can the lawyer from the government represent me in court on an asylum case? Daniela, thank you for asking that question. Everybody listen to me. All right. The answer is no. All right. No. Let me clarify. Daniela, you have a right to a lawyer, but the government isn't going to provide you one. In fact, the government's lawyers are going to be arguing against you. All right? You do not want a government lawyer to be representing you. You want a private lawyer who is not with the government. Okay? You want a private lawyer who's going to go against the government. And now I really appreciate your asking this question, because I could go on and on about this. Like, first of all, let me clarify, all right? I appreciate, I'll send my love, right, to the system here in the United States, all right? I love my country. Oh, country, I love you, all right? But let me be really freaking clear. Are you listening to me right now, everybody? I am against the government attorneys when we are in immigration court. I am against our country's current immigration policy. I and my whole firm here stand against any law that seeks to limit and devalue people and that seeks to limit and devalue immigrants. Got it? And if you are going in court, you do not want a government lawyer. You want a lawyer who will stand against the government and who will fight for you. That's the whole deal. All right, that's the whole deal. Daniela, thank you for asking that question. I really appreciate your asking it. And I just really want to clarify that point. You don't want a government lawyer. You want somebody that will fight for you against the government. That is what we are doing here. That's what immigration lawyering is. All right. Cool. All right. The next question comes from Elisa. All right. Elisa, you ask, I have an immigration case pending. My husband is trying to fix papers for me. My case was submitted in August of 2019. I used to have DACA. I couldn't renew it because of a DUI. Can I get a permit so that I can leave to Mexico while my case is in process? All right, Elisa, thank you for asking that question. The answer is yes. All right, yes. If your case was handled correctly, you know, when we do an adjustment of status case, I assume that that's the process that you're going through, and it's not super clear that that's the process that you're going through, but if it is, if you're going through an adjustment of status process, a person is allowed to file a request for a travel document and for work authorization while their case is pending. All right? And Elisa, I hope that your lawyer, I hope that you applied for that. And it should have been approved by now. If it was filed in August of 2019, the marriage-based cases are taking about 2 years. So it's a problem. If it was an adjustment of status process, it's a problem to me that it hasn't been approved by now. It should have been approved, in my opinion, in August of 2021, depending on where you filed it in the country. But by and large, 24 months should be sufficient to get your green card. Anyway, Elisa, if you want help with your process, hey, please feel free to give us a call. We'd love to do that. We'd love to at least look into it, right, and see what happened there. And yes, you can apply for a travel document. If there's an emergency, then you can apply for an emergency travel document, okay? Like, yes, those things are possible, especially when you have a marriage-based adjustment of status application in process. Good. The next question comes from Lesieli. Lesieli, thank you for your question. Lesieli, you ask, can I still petition for my husband who lost all his documents? Lost his passport, lost his I-94. I'm a U.S. citizen. I wanted to file for his green card, but he does not have any paperwork at all. What should I do? Okay. All right. Great question, Lesieli. Thank you for asking it. Yes, you can. All right. My advice there is let's request all of his records first. All right. You do still have the right to file for him as long as he's eligible, right? Let's just get the records first so that we have the documents we need so that we can prove he is eligible. And we can do that. For example, we request FOIAs that can help demonstrate how, he entered or how he got a visa or how, what is I-94. I mean, you could check the I-94 system at the Customs and Border Patrol website also. If you haven't done that or if you don't know how to do that, you could Google that or I could show you how to do that. Pretty straightforward process. And if you want help with the full case, then, contact my office. We'd love to help you through that. Okay? We have cases all the time where there's not much in the way of documents or lots of documents were lost somewhere along the way. It's not easy, but there's ways to do it. All right? And, if he's eligible, he's eligible. So, awesome. Thank you for asking that question. So, everybody, it is 2:26. All right? That is basically all that I've got time for today. So thank you all so much. All right. Shout out to people who are with me here on Instagram. I see several folks here joining me on Instagram. Thank you for that. If you're on YouTube, shout out to you on YouTube, on Facebook as well. Thank you all so much for being here. If I haven't answered your question, I still will. All right. So, please send me those questions. I love it. And if this was useful, please subscribe to our channel here in YouTube. Please click the notifications bell. We'll get you additional legal updates and news as we have them. All right? And if you have an immigration case, please give us a call. We are here to help. I've got this announcement. For everybody. Starting in February this year, we're going to start going live not once a week, but twice a week. We're going to double our live sessions. And we're going to have one live session focused exclusively on removal defense, all right, as a topic. And then we'll still have the Empowered Immigrant live to talk about the topics that we have always talked about. I'm really excited about it, so I want you to kind of get that on the calendar, right? We'll have one live on Tuesday and another one on Thursday starting in February. So I'm really excited. What are you up to in 2022? And, I hope you make it an amazing year. And I hope you put things in place now to, make sure that it falls as an amazing year for you as the year goes on. And so let's do that. Let's make it happen. So thank you all so much for joining me. Again, I'm Otis Landerholm. I'm the founding attorney here at Landerholm Immigration, A.P.C, where we fight for your American dream. And we'll see you on the next episode of the Empowered Immigrant Live. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.